EnvisionSelfHealing.com, and we're dedicated to helping you improve your eyesight and quality of life by taking healing into your own hands. And in today's video I'm going to be looking at rainy day eye exercises, and this is going to be the first in a series of videos just because I really want to show you that there's a lot more you can do than just the eye exercises that we recommend when it's a nice sunny day. Now, this is one of the biggest complaints or comments that we get from people, is that they just don't have nice enough weather to do eye exercises. So I want to go through a few things that you can do, or particular eye exercises that might be best done indoors for those days when it is a little bit rainy and you just don't have the nice sunshine or the nice weather that you want to go outside and actually do those eye exercises. So the first thing that we're going to look at then, an obvious one and the hardest one to do when it's a rainy day, is sunning. Now, sunning is an eye exercise that you can see other videos here on YouTube, or you can also head over to our website at EnvisionSelfHealing.com. Go to the exercises tab and you'll see there it's got an exercise called the sunning eye exercise. Now, what sunning does is it helps constrict the pupil and also dilate it so that it strengthens the pupil. And the reason why that's important is because a lot of time in modern day society we spend a lot of it indoors, so we're very rarely exposing our eyes to that bright natural sunlight, which means that the pupil is never constricting properly. And even now in today's modern society we wear sunglasses even if we do go outside. So it means that those pupils just aren't getting that ability to constrict. Now, the thing is the pupil is actually a muscle, and if you're not using it just like any other muscle in the body, then it becomes weak. So we want to be able to constrict the pupil and dilate the pupil to bring that elasticity back and strength back in the pupil. Now, one reason why that's so important as far as vision is concerned is it allows us to focus on any given object. It's sort of part of the accommodation process that allows us to focus on an object and make it clear. So those of you that have ever worn pinhole glasses, or if you just make a small hole in a piece of paper and look through it, you'll notice that the image will be sharper. And that's because what we call the pinhole effect, where the light is being shone straight onto the back of the fovea and the image is heading straight to the clear part of the eye, and it's making the image clearer. So the eye actually does this naturally with the eye exercise sunning, or with the pupil that is then shrunk so that the image can be focused better on the back of the eye. Now, the opposite happens when you look out into the distance, or if you're in a dark environment, then the pupil dilates so we can take in more of our surroundings, or more light so we can see better in the dark. So, but our concern here is that it helps you see things more clearly with that tighter and smaller hole, which is the pupil, to allow us to see a lot more clearer. So the sunning eye exercise then is where you close your eyes and you look towards the sun and you move your head from side to side. Now, what that's doing then is, because the light is on the eyes and because your eyes are closed, you're not getting any of the UV rays or any damaging parts of the light, and you're just allowing the pupil to constrict fully. So when you're turning your head from side to side, that's also allowing it to dilate when you turn over to the side and constrict when you come to the center. Now, obviously this is a difficult exercise to do when there is no sun, and I know a lot of people, maybe if you live in a rainy part of the world, we get a lot of emails from people in Portland that tell us that it's difficult for them to do such eye exercises like sunning, and also in Vancouver and any other rainy part of the world. I know myself, when I used to live in England, there's a reason why I moved to Kenya, so I could get a little bit more sun. It's not as drastic as that. That's not the only reason why I moved. It was just to do sunning, but it was certainly a nice part of my decision was to know I was going to get a lot more sunshine. But there are things that you can do in order to get the same similar effect. Nothing is going to be as good as getting the sun. The sun itself is around 10,000 watts, and of course it's difficult to replicate that, but you can still get similar effects by doing a couple of these exercises that I'm going to suggest to you now. So the first thing you can do then, if it's sort of a cloudy, rainy day, probably not so much if it's necessarily rainy, but just that point where it's just sort of drizzling or it's just finished raining and you've got a very cloudy sky, you can do something called skying. Now what that means is you look towards the sky and you're not looking at the sun, so it's completely cloudy, but what you do is you rapidly blink your eyes and turn your head from side to side, just as if you were doing the sunning exercise. Now one thing we like about this so much is you're getting the blinking, which very few of us blink enough. You should be blinking around 20 times a minute, but the average person blinks half that, and we half that again if we're in front of the computer or reading. So it's a great way to get that blinking in during the day. But also, because you're not looking directly at the sun and you're looking up at the sky, then you're able to have your eyes open, and because you're blinking, it's still bright. There's still a lot more light outside, even though they're still cloudy and you're not getting sun through. It's still a lot brighter than if you were indoors, say with a 100-watt bulb or something. You're still better off being outside in that natural sunlight, and of course you're still getting all the great benefits from the vitamin D and everything else that the sun has to offer for us. So just being outside and doing the skying exercise is still going to help constrict the pupil and give you some of the benefits of the sunshine. Now, as an add-on to the skying exercise, you can place the palm of your hand on your forehead and the other palm of the other hand on the back of the head, and you can turn your head from side to side as you blink, and this is giving you a massage. So you're massaging your forehead. You can put quite a bit of pressure here, and you can also put quite a bit of pressure on the back. Now the hands stay solid, and it's just the head that you turn from side to side. Now you can see a lot more details on this again on our website at EnvisionSelfHealing.com, where you will see, if you look for the skying eye exercise, then you will find it a little bit more detail on, we talk about that, and we also have some written descriptions there. There's also a video here on YouTube that you can find on skying itself. So the second thing that you can do then, if even if it's really that dark and you just can't do the skying eye exercise, but you still want to do the sunning exercise, because remember we talked about the anatomy of it, of how those muscles constrict and dilate as you turn your head from side to side. So surely there's a way of replicating that as well. Now by no means is there a replica for the sun. Just as I said before, there's so many benefits that the rays of the sun give us health-wise, that it's really not something you want to substitute. But it's and also obviously it's a 10,000 watt. It's equivalent to a 10,000 watt bulb, so that's really difficult to replicate. Maybe even if you did have that in your house, then your electricity bill would be so much that you wouldn't want to do the eye exercise in the first place. But what you can do, and as what some people use as a substitute, is a full spectrum light. Now some people call these different things, but there's a lot of research on these full spectrum lights on helping with depression during the winter times. You've probably heard about that. There's also studies in how it improves academic performance when they put these lights in schools, and in general these lights are just a lot better for you. It's a brighter, more of a white light than that sort of horrible yellow light that you don't even necessarily realise, because the eye adjusts to that, so that you don't realise that it's actually a yellow light. But these lights they're a bit more expensive. You can find these in the resources section on our website. If you just head over to the resources tab and scroll down under reading tips or help with reading, then we suggest these if you are doing something like reading a book, because you really want that bright light when you're reading, because that's what the eye is designed to use, partly because of the pupil, but also because the macula, which is the detailed part of the eye that does the reading, you want as much light for that as possible. So, but for one thing that you can use if you don't have the sun, is to plug one of these guys in, and you just face it and close your eyes again, and you turn your head from side to side as if this was the sun. So again, it's not as good as if you did have the sunshine, but it's certainly something that you can use, and I've used in the past, and clients have used in the past as a substitute for the sunning. And it also means that you can get your eye exercises in during the day. There's no excuse that the weather is too bad or rainy and that you can't go outside. And you could even notice that, say if it's in the evening and you wanted to help with your reading or something, and certainly try sunning with the full spectrum light to help. So there we are then, some great tips on how you can do some rainy day eye exercises. Now I know it's not as nice as being outside in the gorgeous sunshine and doing these eye exercises, where it really is a pleasure rather than a chore. And also we tend to see a lot more benefits when we do them outside, and certainly more immediate benefits, especially when you've got beautiful sunshine. But the importance of being able to adapt these eye exercises into our everyday life, and also to our environment, and not be dependent on the environment, and do the eye exercises on a regular basis, is very important in your success as far as vision improvement is concerned. So if you like this tip and you want to find out some more, you can always head over to our website at EnvisionSelfHealing.com. We've got a lot more blogs going on there and a lot more great tips. I also do regular tips and updates on my Twitter page, FullerEN, and you can also head over to my Facebook page, FullerEnvision, or indeed head over to the Facebook fan page, where we stick up lots of information on how we're getting on with our own eyesight, and also communicate with other people and how they're getting on with their vision. Also head over to our website at EnvisionSelfHealing.com and get your free ebook over there, a modern day guide to improving eyesight. And there's a lot more tips and a lot more information on how to improve your eyesight naturally and to get better vision. So I hope you're doing well with your eye exercises, and happy healing.